So one thing I've been trying to figure out is how to make horns out of anything that I have, because I'd love to be able to work with Warbler someday, but right now I need to use what I have. So what does that mean? I need to make something clear that can have a light shine through it, and I thought there's got to be a way. And I threw out some kind of weird ideas, but then realized that you can melt hot glue sticks. And I thought that was a great idea, and then I wondered if anybody had kind of done that before, and lo and behold, they had. So I will link that video down below that shows kind of where I solidified my idea and just made sure that my idea wasn't totally crazy. So that's what we're going to be doing right now. And we're going to try to be making a sheet of pretty pliable stuff, but that will be stiff so that I can form it into clear horns that I can then put lights into. So the first thing I did was lay out my parchment paper. This is going to help the glue sticks not stick to whatever you're melting it on. And laid out how many glue sticks I thought I might need. I'm just going to do that, and hopefully I can do this and not mess it up. I would recommend shaving off any words on that, as you'll see later. I had to do that and then remelt it. So that would just be a helpful tip beforehand. It does seem to be melting. This was super exciting because I've never worked with like clear materials like this or Warbler or anything like that. So it was really cool. Okay, so that feels decently thick and like it might be thick enough to hold its shape. But also fairly smooth, so I guess we just let it cool and then take the parchment off. So that actually only took a few seconds of being on this cold tile floor. It is still warm, but it's not hot. I might recommend maybe like slicing off these numbers or something. So that's fascinating. That's really cool, actually. It's not super smooth. Maybe a thicker parchment would be able to keep it smoother better. You can see all of these indentations where the paper just kind of, curls under the heat. But for the purposes of what I'm doing, I think this will work fine, hopefully. Now I just need to figure out how to cut these shapes together. I think I need to make a pattern. So I tried drawing out the first shape. I was kind of I sat there and probably thought about it for like 5 minutes. And then I just started drawing what I think might work. Trying to figure out how it was going to fold and being able to cut it out. Fold it and see how those horns and things would line up. And my second attempt. I don't know. I have no explanation for you.
Maybe hand gestures would be helpful for you to remember what like a template for a horn would be. So then I kind of got them to line up properly. Realized I had to shape the bottom. I still need to work on being able to make kind of more of a 3D shape. This worked okay, but the horns were still kind of flat. I know I can probably just look that up, but I'm stubborn and I like to figure things out for myself. They're bigger than I thought, or my head is smaller than I thought. And then it was just figuring out how it would look on camera. The most anticlimactic thing ever. And that's when I realized I had some wire connections loose. This was a repurposed like decor light string. It used to have clips on it, and I pulled the clips off and did that for most of the lights, but some of the LEDs just popped off. So then I had loose wires and I had taped them with electrical tape, but now I just took the opportunity to use some of that hot glue sheet to wrap around the wires. And then I used a bit of hot glue to seal up the open ends, and that was not only clear like the light strand, but much safer and much more effective. And attempt number 2.
I mean, you can obviously tell where the lights are, but
On camera, it looks even better, actually. Dude. Now I just have to make the other one.
This went much faster because I had an inkling of what I was doing. I did notice that it worked pretty well to not only use hot glue from the hot glue gun, but also to kind of use that hot tip there to melt and kind of shape the edges of the glue to make them more smooth. Your weekly dose of nebula. So I was able to take this old headband. I'm not really a headband person anyways, so I just popped off that pretty decoration there. And working on whatever was mounting it to it, it was pliable, but it also looked like metal. So I was trying to pull those off with pliers. She is really so sweet. She's also a little punk, but that's not really the point. So I realized that it was actual solder, and that I have actually had some experience with soldering things before, so I thought I could melt it off. And I was very professionally wiping it on the cookie sheet, knowing that it'll come off easily once it dries, but that's when I remembered that I actually know how to do this properly. Also, please be careful. Do I have to put a disclaimer here? I mean, you're working with a blowtorch.
You're not hurting yourself, are you? Okay, you better not be.
So what you do is you take a wet rag first. Tell any pets no, big no. And melt that solder again and take a wet rag and wipe it over it. Not only will the water evaporate in the rag, cooling down the metal, but you'll also be wiping off the solder and or smoothing it out. So you get a nice, clean, smooth finish. Also, that's a fire hazard. I also realized that I was accidentally melting some of these scrap bits of hot glue gun on the metal tray, and in melting it, it was actually super clear and super smooth. So I kind of filed that away for later, knowing that if you remelt the sheet without disturbing it, it won't be that diffused kind of milky color. But for the horns, I did want it to be diffused because I have string lights and not like a solid light source. And it was just figuring out where the horn placement was going to go. And I tried using E6000 to glue these on, but because it's at an angle, it just kept falling off. And I even tried rounding this out in the end, which I think is a good idea anyways, just so it would fit the curve of the headband. But eventually I decided to use some scrap fabric and use that to create kind of a base where I can glue the full base of the horn onto the headband and just get it really secure. So the first thing I did was attach the fabric pieces where I wanted them. I also used pieces of fabric that matched the color scheme of my closet cosplay. And I just used E6000 to glue that to the headband. I also cut slits from the back of the fabric patches so that I could be able to slip the lights through. Obviously not cutting all the way to the ends, you're just creating kind of a little pocket. And I decided to just use hot glue because the E6000 just does not dry very quickly. It takes a long time to set. So the hot glue dried onto it much quicker and allowed it to be stable. After those were in place though, I did decide to put a line of E6000 around the hot glue, just the base of the horns. I just wanted to make sure they were super secure because I knew that I would probably be bumping into things with them. And I just used an extra large duct tape roll as kind of an impromptu mannequin head to keep it up and in place in order to set overnight. Hey guys, so it is the morning after my creative, I don't know, marathon last night, and this is probably the cutest thing I have ever made in my life. I think they look great. There are these little patches where the cloth is, but I did it in a color scheme that matches the color scheme of what I am doing. So, we're about to find out if this works or see how it works. Oh my gosh. Okay, so in person, Oh, I'm so giddy. I could frolic. So you can see where the lights are down my back. I will be wearing like a hoodie sweatshirt thing. So, and it's a little bit in my hair, but that's okay. Um, Holy heck. Okay, this looks really, really good on camera. They really just look, I look like a Shinehorn on camera. I'm so excited right now. Okay, but if also this is my first time working with lights for a cosplay, and this is just like a super easy casual cosplay, but still, so I am impressed with actually how easy this was to make. Um, Obviously, I had to buy the LED string lights. Okay, so you can kind of tell. There we go. So that's what it looks like IRL. It still glows, it's still cool, but you can really tell where the individual lights are. And it's certainly not perfect, but I'm excited and I'm proud. So now I'm never gonna want to take these off. And suddenly I'm thinking of so many uses for these. Like reindeer horns. Anyways. They're sturdy. I'm freaking out, guys. I'm sorry. Okay, let's move on to the actual whole cosplay. And my the makeup for this will be done separately on my makeup and beauty and health channel. So if you want a more detailed view of what I'm doing for the makeup, watch that video there. And yeah, holy crap, that will be linked down below. I'm so giddy right now. Oh my gosh.